seated.
Announcements none. Papers have been laid. Question.
Without opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the question is asked of the Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Defence, Home Affairs and External Communications, Minister of Rodrigues, Art Islands and Territorial Integrity, whether he will state if he has taken cognizance of recordings published in the media on Friday 9th June purporting to contain serious allegations against a number of serving police officers, including senior police officers, and if so, state if consideration will be given for assistance to be sought from friendly countries, A, to inquire into these allegations, and B, with a view to eventually recommending proposals for a more effective structure to replace the ADSU, as recommended in the report of the Commission of Inquiry on Drug Trafficking, and as well as the recently created Police Headquarters Special Striking Team.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition has, in his private notice question, himself qualified the accusations allegedly made against certain police officers as allegations. And Mr. Speaker, sir, allegations are always subject to verifications and investigations by the competent authorities. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that on Wednesday, 3rd May 2023, at 12:20 hours, along La Poudrière Street, near Sir Abdul Razak Mohammed SSS, Port Louis, following intelligence and lengthy surveillance operation, the Special Striking Team, having reasonable suspicions of drug trafficking, intercepted a private van, make Ford Raptor, color grey, driven by one Mr. V.S., age 39, director, residing at Avenue Victoria, La Caverne Bakwa. The search was carried out in his presence, during the course of which the following was secured from the vehicle. 1. Around 10 kilo of heroin, having a street value of around 155 million rupees, and a sum of 27,575 rupees. Mr. V.S. was arrested, and on the same day, a search was carried out in his presence, in his dwelling at Avenue Victoria, La Caverne Bakwa, where jewelry and certain documents were secured. The next day, that is, on Thursday, 4th of May 2023, a provisional plaint was lodged against Mr. V.S. before the District Court of Port Louis, where he was provisionally charged for 1. Drug dealing with aggravating circumstances, that is, possession of heroin for the purpose of distribution with the averment of trafficking in breach of sections 31F2, 41, 3, 4, subparagraph 3 and subparagraph 4, and 47, section 47, subparagraph 2, subparagraph 5, A and B of the Dangerous Drugs Act. And 2, money laundering in breach of sections 39, subparagraph A1, A2, and section 47, subparagraph 2, 5A, and section 48 of the Dangerous Drugs Act. I am further informed that police objected before the court to his release on bail, and he was remanded to police cell. He again appeared in court on 11th, 18th, and 25th of May, and on 1st and 8th of June 2023. He will appear in court anew on 15th of June 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am also informed that in the course of inquiry, 33 persons, including Mr. V.S. and Dr. N.R., have been interrogated, and so far, only Mr. V.S. has been arrested and 3 statements have been recorded from him. The inquiry is still in progress. Concurrently, the Office of the Commissioner of Police has, by way of a letter dated 9th of May 2023, referred the case file to the Independent Commission Against Corruption for an in-depth inquiry into alleged case of money laundering. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that on Friday, 30th of May 2023, an application was served on the Commissioner of Police through the Attorney at Law, Mr. P.T., before the Supreme Court for an order directing and ordering the Commissioner of Police to remove the team known as Special Striking Team and all its officers who were currently conducting the inquiry into the case of Mr. V.S. A pen drive was attached to the application. The case was returnable for 5th of June 2023. On 1st of June 2023, the assistance of the Attorney General's office was sought to assist the police during the proceedings, and on 5th of June 2023, the Supreme Court was informed that the application was being registered and an affidavit will be filed. The case has now been fixed for the 19th of June 2023 for an affidavit to be filed. Following the receipt of the application and pen drive, an inquiry has been initiated at the level of Major Crime Investigation Team to gather information and evidence on the allegations made in the pen drive. Mr. Speaker, sir, on Friday, 9th of June 2023, as from 1800 hours, a program co-presented by Mr. N.N. and Mr. J.L.E. with Mr. K.T. as guest was streamed on Teleplus and Defi Media entitled Vimen Leaks, La Bande Sonore Explosive. During the course of the program, the contents of a pen drive alluding to alleged malpractices by some officers of the Anti-Drug and Smuggling Unit Special Striking Team were aired live. On 10th of June 2023, after taking cognizance of the contents of the program, a police communiqué was issued by the Office of the Commissioner of Police, which inter alia invites Mr. N.N. to hand over the said pen drive to the police for investigation. Furthermore, on the same day, an inquiry has been initiated into the matter by the CCID. Related to this case, Mr. N.N. has been convened at the CCID today at 10 o'clock in the morning. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am also informed that on 8th of June 2023, at 8:49 hours, Mrs. D.S., the wife of Mr. V.S., left his clothing at the Line Barracks Detention Center. At 19:40 hours, on the same day, following certain information, police carried out a search at Line Barracks Detention Center and secured a mobile phone, make Nokia color blue, near cell number 1, which is occupied by detainee Mr. V.S. Same has been secured as exhibit and is being examined by the IT unit of the police. During the course of inquiry, on 9th of June 2023, one police constable, P.G., was arrested in connection with the case. He appeared before Bail and Remand Court on 10th of June 2023 and has been remanded to police cell up to 12th of June 2023. Inquiry is ongoing in this case as well. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Commissioner of Police has set up the Special Striking Team in August 2022 so as to enable the police to maintain its momentum in the fight against crimes, including drug trafficking. The Special Striking Team is not meant to replace or to substitute any other unit within the police force, but instead, its role is to complement the other adjuncts of the force in the fight against crimes and, in particular, drug trafficking. Hence, as it is the case for other units, the goal of the Special Striking Team is to improve the reactive capability of police through prompt responses to crime situations, thereby meeting the justified expectations of the community and providing a high level of service delivery. And since its coming into operation, a special striking team, which is headed by an assistant superintendent of police, has since its setting up on 3rd of August 2022 to date arrested 58 persons in respect of 81 cases. The total street value of drugs seized is approximately 355 million rupees. Mr. Speaker, sir, as indicated in the communiqué issued by the Commissioner of Police, an inquiry has already been initiated by the police into the allegations made. The inquiry has been entrusted to the Major Crime Investigation Team, which is a specialized unit of the police. Depending on the outcome of the preliminary investigations, the police may refer the matter to the Independent Police Complaints Commission for any action deemed necessary. Mr. Speaker, sir, in accordance with Section 71(4) of the Constitution, the responsibility for determining the use and controlling of the operations of the police force is vested in the Commissioner of Police. I wish to add that, except for the provisions in Section 71(3) of the Constitution, the Commissioner is not in the exercise of the powers and functions of his office with respect to the use and operational control of the force subject to the direction or control of any person or authority. Hence, the Commissioner of Police has deemed it fit not to dismantle the ADSU, as this would have created an institutional vacuum. The ADSU has instead been reorganized and reinforced by a new team, and other officers have joined to replace others who have been transferred. Furthermore, it is also supported in its tasks by the SST and other units of the police force. There is a close collaboration between the ADSU and the Special Striking Team insofar as sharing of information and resources are concerned. It is to be noted that the ADSU has carried out a number of successful operations leading to arrest and significant seizures. Mr. Speaker, sir, furthermore, with a view to strengthening regional collaboration in our fight against illicit activities, my office has renewed its bilateral collaboration with Réunion Island through the Groupe de Contact with a view to combating, amongst others, drug trafficking, illegal immigration, and money laundering around our two borders and exclusive economic zones. The last meeting of the Groupe de Contact, which was led by the Secretary for Home Affairs from the Mauritian side and comprising, amongst others, the Commissioner of Police, was held in Réunion Island on 6th of June 2023. The Réunion side was headed by the Préfet de la Réunion and the French ambassador in Mauritius. The opportunity was also taken for the legal representatives of the Attorney General's office and that of Réunion Island to explore the possibility of enhancing collaboration and streamlining the exchange of information with regards to legal matters pertaining in particular to drug trafficking between our two parties. In the same regional context, the ADSU has also developed contacts in Madagascar, Seychelles, South Africa, and it also collaborates with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the Drug Enforcement Administration in USA, of the USA, and the National Crime Agency of the UK. I also wish to inform the House that in March 2022, I had discussion with the Director General of the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office of UK regarding the area of cooperation between the Mauritius Police Force and British authorities, including capacity building in information and intelligence analysis as well as crime investigation. As the House is aware, we have also bilateral relations with countries such as France, UK, India, USA, and if need be, we may seek any form of assistance from them. It is also to be noted that a Memorandum of Understanding on Cooperation on Crime Prevention and Drug Control has been signed between the UN Office on Drugs and Crime and the Republic of Mauritius on 28 April 2018. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have on many occasions in this August Assembly reaffirmed my unflinching commitment and that of my government to relentlessly fight and win the war against drug barons. In our zero-tolerance approach to clean our country of drug trafficking, my government is leaving no stone unturned to track down drug peddlers and those associated with the drug mafia. My government is also fulfilling its duty to protect our citizens, especially our young people, from the drug scourge. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are well aware of the adverse impact of illicit cultivation, trafficking, production, and abuse of drugs on the island. The response of my government to the drug scourge in Mauritius has constantly and consistently been guided by strategic interventions with a view to reducing supply and demand. Despite the growing drug challenge, my government has made important strides in addressing the drug problem. My government has embarked itself in the fight against the scourge by adopting a multifaceted approach which covers all diverse aspects of the problem, including actions in the areas of health, education, and public safety, amongst others. My government has set a series of policies and actions to address the proliferation of drugs, including law enforcement to combat trafficking. It is pertinent to remind the House that prior to 2014, several requests were made for the setting up of a commission of inquiry on drug trafficking, but the then government did not take any action. Mr. Speaker, sir, it was only in 2015, under the leadership of Sir Anirudh Jagnnath, the then Prime Minister, that the Commission of Inquiry on Drug Trafficking, with former Judge Paul Lam Shang Ling as chairperson, was set up. As a follow-up to the report of the Commission of Inquiry on Drug Trafficking, published in July 2018, a ministerial committee was constituted under my chair, and another committee was set up under the chair of the Secretary to Cabinet and Head of Civil Service to look into the legal, institutional, and administrative issues and to expedite the implementation of the recommendations contained in the report of the Commission of Inquiry. The National Drug Secretariat of my office, which has, inter alia, the responsibility to coordinate the implementation of the National Drug Control Master Plan 2019-2023, took over this responsibility as from March 2020. As at date, over 80% of the 390 recommendations, including Rodrigues, have been addressed. I also wish to remind the House that for the period January 2015 to May 2023, more than 25,345 drug cases have been detected and around 22,000 persons arrested. Regarding drug seizures, the estimated street value of drugs seized stood at almost 15 billion rupees for the same period. The huge seizure of drugs by the police demonstrates the sustained and successful crusade of my government in the combat against drug trafficking and drug use. Mr. Speaker, sir, we all agree that our police force has a vital role to play in maintaining law and order, in protecting lives and property of all our citizens. Our police force has a glorious history and has served the country well for more than 250 years of its existence. It certainly faces huge challenges due to changes in the policing environment, and it has to change and adapt to the new realities and exigencies, and it is our duty to facilitate this transition such that the police can continue to deliver on its mandate in an efficient and effective manner. Our police force comprises more than 15,000 men and women, the large majority of whom are discharging their duties with dedication and professionalism, and are thus maintaining both safety and security, which are so vital for our socio-economic development. It is therefore disheartening to see some people in the media and in the opposition ready to seize every opportunity to discredit the police force and are bent on sapping the morale of the whole police force by their irresponsible comments. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm not saying that we should tolerate or condone any misconduct on the part of any brebis galeuse. As I said earlier, the Commissioner of Police has already ordered an investigation into this matter, and severe action will be taken in accordance with the regulations in force should the inquiry reveal any incriminating evidence against any officer for any unlawful act. Mr. Speaker, sir, the protection of our citizens remains one of our major priorities. This government will, therefore, devote all the necessary resources required to provide modern security logistics, equipment, infrastructural facilities on land and sea to maintain peace and order in our territory. We, as a nation, have the capacity and capabilities to achieve that objective. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has taken 22 minutes or more, but he has given a lot of information. But I hope now, that from now on, he sticks to short answers that we can get through what the public is expecting outside. And that is absolutely true. Now, so far as the investigation is concerned, I understand, therefore, that the MCIT is in charge of the investigation, part itself of police headquarters. How can we expect police headquarters to investigate another unit called the Police Headquarters Special Striking Team directly under the control of the Commissioner of Police? How can we expect an impartial inquiry in this case? And this is the reason why I am suggesting a foreign team to assist.
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, as the Honourable Leader of the Opposition has mentioned in his PNQ himself, these are, at this stage, only allegations. Now, the allegations that have been made in terms of an affidavit that has been sworn by somebody who has been arrested with so much drugs, worth about, I have mentioned, I think more than 155 million rupees, must be taken also with a pinch of salt. I'm not saying, and I'm not already passing any judgment right now about those allegations. Whether they are true, whether they are false, it's only when there is a preliminary investigation that will be carried out. And I've said in my answer, when there is a time that will come, it will be passed on, of course, to the Independent Police Complaints Commission for them there to take over and to inquire further.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not pronouncing myself on the culpability or not of Mr. VS. That is for the court to decide. But surely the Prime Minister doesn't expect informers or whistleblowers on the ADSU and the drugs to come from the local parish priest. It must come, obviously, from some people who are knowledgeable about the circuit. I'd like to ask the Honourable Prime Minister now concerning one allegation is that Mr. JSC, alias Mr. F, Mr. Franklin, he apparently enjoys protection from certain senior officers of ADSU, and I would ask the Prime Minister, I remind the Prime Minister of my PNQ of some time ago, where it was clearly stated that the ADSU inquiry on Mr. Franklin started 7 years ago, without any serious charge being put to him. So I would ask the Prime Minister whether that itself doesn't merit some serious inquiry, which cannot be carried out by police headquarters itself.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in all cases, there are going to be serious inquiries. Now, it has become a habit lately that every suspicion of drug trafficking, every person who has been arrested, it has become a habit to say now that there has been planting. It has become a habit now to accuse the police officers, those same people who have arrested those alleged drug traffickers, to now say that the police themselves have been planting those drugs. If we have to go according to what the Honorable Leader of the Opposition is saying, we will have to hand over practically all cases of drug trafficking to different foreign persons to investigate. Where do we start? Where do we stop? In the case you mentioned, the case of Franklin, it has been the same thing. In the case of Bruno Lorette, it's the same thing. And I don't want to mention every time now, every day we see somebody being arrested, planting. We will see how far they will go in terms of planting. But we can't go on like this. And then we say, let's ask for somebody from abroad to come and investigate. We will have to retain, I don't know, it will have to be another police force from abroad who is going to investigate into all those cases.
Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, the people at large believe what is being told on planting because there is very little trust in the police, as confirmed by Afrobarometer recently. Now, I'd like to ask the Honourable Prime Minister, we are talking about police officers, supposedly on this cassette, on this recording. Would he advise the CP to offer these police officers conditional immunity so that they may speak freely about what they know and they're not afraid of for their own selves?
First of all, Mr. Speaker, sir, I cannot speak for what the people believe. I don't know what the people believe. What I believe is what I see, what I have. And I can say, comme un juriste, I believe in evidence, and I believe in serious information that comes before me so that action can be taken. Now, the leader of the opposition is saying that, well, there are those allegations, as if, I hope you are not meaning, you do not mean that. Allegations are allegations. Now, if I can refer to, because you are saying, well, we should dismantle this striking team and so on. You know, if I can quote one person who has been an assessor on the Commission of Inquiry on the drug trafficking, Mr. Sam Lawton, and I think he is not a friend of ours, he's not a member of our party, so he, and Mr. Speaker, sir, in an interview in L'Express of the 9th of March 2023, this is what he has to say, and it's good. The question was put by Mrs. Tuya Prayag. The question was, coming back to the recommendations, one of the most striking one was the dismantling of the anti-drug and smuggling unit. As you know, not only didn't that happen, but the Prime Minister went out of his way to congratulate them for the fantastic work they are doing. Do you feel that was a slap on the Commission's face? That was the question. And the reply from Mr. Sam Lawton, well, I don't want to quote other things. The main thing, it is good that you mentioned the special striking team. Many people, including journalists, think there is a conflict of interest between them and the rest of ADSU. In fact, we need to have this sort of team. You know, the mafia uses guns, violence, and so on. We need people who have the guts to counteract that. I personally would go further and say that I wish to see at least 10 such striking teams all over the island to reinforce the efficiency of the ADSU vis-à-vis the mafia. This is what he says. Somebody who is who is, let me finish, somebody who is really independent, and I must say who has been quite critical to government also. This is what he has to say with regard to the special striking team.
The Prime Minister should table when he's quoting from the press. He knows that.
Yes,
he didn't table. Table the article, not your paper. Now,
You can table the article.
that should be done. Firstly, Mr. Speaker, does the Prime Minister know that Seychelles has had huge problems with drugs too, and that recently it restructured its police force to better cope with the situation with the help of the US? And here I'm coming to the Lam-Shamling report that was quite adamant on the need, for various reasons I don't have time to go into, on the dismantling of the ADSU, and which I must say is confirmed by what we hear on that cassette. And, Mr. Speaker, to finish on that, is the Prime Minister aware that one foreign embassy, the ambassador thereof, has been seeking a meeting with the Commissioner of Police for the last few months to offer advice and help, and has not, at the moment, the Commissioner of Police has not had time to receive that ambassador. So therefore, why don't we take the example of our brothers in Seychelles and show also that we mean business in respect of the drug scourge?
I don't know which ambassador the honourable leader of the opposition is talking. I think we should be more careful not to bring in ambassadors, diplomats into our, differences if we have. I don't think we have differences on this issue because we all want to fight against this drug scourge. But, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me say one thing. Allegations, against persons in authority, against particularly police officers, and especially those who are specialized in fighting against drug traffickers, is not only limited to Mauritius. Everywhere you have the same situation. And I must say, everywhere you have situation where there are officers in authority who are accomplices, who become, in fact, for whatever reason, of course, I leave anyone to guess, become an accomplice avec ces trafiquants de drogue. And I don't need to mention a number of cases, because the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is asking us to seek assistance from reputed countries, which, like France. Let me mention just a few cases in France. 6 policiers de la brigade anticriminalité du 18e arrondissement sont accusés d'arrestations frauduleuses, de rackets de dealers, ou encore d'avoir... You put a question, let me answer. You want to answer? You want to control my answer?
Order.
I don't control
Leader
your
of the
question, Leader of the Opposition. Let me answer. I don't mind why. If time is given, I will reply. Yeah, for me, I have no problem. But give me time, let me reply. So, racket de dealers, ou encore d'avoir rédigé des procès-verbaux fallacieux. Un monsieur, KM, agent de la brigade anticriminalité, depuis plus de 15 ans, est accusé d'avoir été la figure centrale d'une vaste affaire de corruption et de trafic de stupéfiants. Another case. L'ex-patron des stupes mis en examen. Patron des stupes, s'il vous plaît. Mis en examen pour trafic de drogue. Monsieur FT a été mis en examen pour complicité de détention, transport et acquisition de stupéfiants et complicité d'exportation de stupéfiants en bande organisée. Another case. More recent. Un capitaine et un brigadier affectés à la brigade des stupes de la police judiciaire ont été mis en examen jeudi à Paris pour le vol de plusieurs kilos de cocaïne dans les scellés. This is French cases. There are others. I don't want to cite so many of them. In Marseille right now, I hope you also follow. Okay, good. because even this morning, the French news, they are in fact reporting about the terrible situation that is existing in certain arrondissements in Paris and the connection in Marseille where there are gangs fighting and shooting. So now, The Guardian of 14 February 2022 speaks about a senior Metropolitan Police commander who wrote his force current drug strategy faces the sack after being accused of taking cannabis, LSD, and magic mushrooms. And it is not limited only to those countries. We have 6 metropolitan officers. I'm quoting from the Economic Times, 18th of October 2022. 6 metropolitan police officers were high on narcotics while working recently. Last year, 2 cops tested positive for cannabis while on duty, while 2 more failed tests for ingesting Class A cocaine. And as per reports, another Met officer had evidence of opiates in the system, including morphine, and the 6th officer had residues of benzodiazepines and amphetamines in the system. And according to the FOI data, 16 officers in England and Wales failed drug tests while being on duty in the previous year. In the United States, Mr. Speaker, sir, the headline of New York Times, America has lost the war on drugs. 22nd of February 2023, this year, in February, America has lost the war on drugs. Drug use is soaring. More Americans are dying of overdoses than at any point in modern history. So let us be, what I'm saying, I'm not saying that because these are happening elsewhere, that it should happen here. No, what I'm saying is, first of all, we have to wage a serious, a genuine war against those drug traffickers. And I note also, of course, that those countries, wherever we can get assistance, wherever we can get, of course, any assistance that will improve our force, our system, the way we do inquiry and so on. Of course, we need to tap from those expertise. But it is, as I have always said, it is the will of government. You must, first of all, have the will to combat drug trafficking. Unlike the period of 2005 to 2014, where I have stated there was not really any will. In fact, the contrary happened. The traffickers were tolerated, ils ont été soutirés, et ils ont vraiment, they have in fact expanded in terms of their business. And this is why we have inherited such a situation, but we are carrying on with this fight, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Prime Minister will not forget that it was DPM in 2015. I think it was Minister of ICT. So we're all together also in this issue. Should not forget that. I want to ask the Prime Minister now whether he's aware, and NGOs tell me, in fact, that the price of drugs, price of heroin, for instance, is falling, which would mean that supply is exceeding demand. Other things are a bit more difficult, but heroin is falling, for instance. Therefore, that would mean, Mr. Speaker, that despite the famous seizures that we see every day, none of which get to court, by the way, to be convicted, that has been proven in one of the last PNQ, only 3 out of 120. So the situation is dramatic. And therefore, I'm saying to the Prime Minister that these tapes, whether true or not, I cannot say, but these tapes are a wonderful occasion for the Prime Minister to seize on that. Because for the first time we have it, not in writing, but audio, that these things are happening with names, events, etc. This is why I'm asking the Prime Minister to take it extremely seriously, and we cannot rely on the police headquarters to investigate police headquarters, to ask for foreign help, not in 1,000 cases, but in that particular case where for the first time, as far as I know, we have such direct evidence of wrongdoing in the police.
Monsieur le Président, encore une fois, je commence à croire que le leader de l'opposition est convaincu maintenant de ce qui est allégué, contrairement à sa question lui-même. These are allegations, and I repeat, I cannot pass any judgment on those allegations. I cannot right now conclude that the allegations are true or are false. And let me remind the Honorable Leader of the Opposition to be careful and learn from past lessons. You know, if I can draw let's say, an example. We all remember when there were fierce allegations against myself by one Maharaja. Remember? The Maharaja came with a pen drive and said, look, the evidence is here. And that the government would fall in the days to come. There's going to be a tsunami, you know, and the Maharaja met the leader of the Labour Party, met the leader of the opposition, you know, and after their respective meetings, the Maharaja said, well, he had a very fruitful meeting with the leader of the Labour Party, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam, and that there's going to be a tsunami. The leader of the opposition, I hope your memory is going to be refreshed. When you yourself, stated, this is a credible person. You said, this is a credible person, you know. Now, no, I'm not blaming you. What I'm saying is we must learn from lessons. So, you said he's a credible person. Look, what is happening today. Where's his credibility? And I say, what we have seen today, what we are seeing in terms of the investigation that are revealing certain things, this is nothing. This is nothing. The people will be shocked when all the truth will come out, you know. So don't pass any instant judgment on allegations that are made. I agree with you, allegations, I fully agree with you, must be investigated. Must be investigated in an independent way, so that there are no collusion, there are no covering up, and I have, of course, discussed the matter with the Commissioner of Police in regard with this matter, and I can assure you, and I can assure the House, that investigation will be done thoroughly. And if need be, we will see how it is unfolding, and therefore, you know, action will be taken. Let me just also add one thing, because we are talking about some people who were part of the ADSU team. I must say that some have already been transferred. They have already been transferred from ADSU to, of course, other unit of the police force. So, I'm not saying that they are guilty. I'm not saying that. But, of course, we take the precaution. The Commissioner of Police has acted himself. He has transferred some people, and investigation, I can assure you, will be done.
Time over. I have already given 12 more minutes. These are allegations. You understand these are allegations. 12 more minutes I've already given. Time over. Motion.
Speaker, sir, I beg to move that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10.
Seconded. The question is that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. Ayes have it.
Statements by ministers none. Public bill second reading.
Honourable Minister Jua Doyao.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for giving me the floor to intervene in the fourth budget of the government. I'm pleased to comment on a budget which is not only a mere collection of, I must say, numbers and figures, but rather a powerful document for social justice. This year also, the budget of the ministry, the Social Security Division, has benefited from a significant increase, Mr. Speaker, from 46.4 billion for the last financial year to reach 51 13.1 billion for this financial year 2023-2024. Some people may not hear well when it comes to progress, Mr. Speaker, so let me repeat the figures. We have reached 51.1 billion. We all know that the Social Security Division is the main implementing agency of the social policies of the government. As such, the ministry plays a key role in the design and implementation of social policy. Monsieur le Président, depuis 2014, nous déployons une politique sociale efficace au service de nos aînés, les personnes en situation de handicap, les veuves, les orphelins et ceux qui sont économiquement faibles. Notre gouvernement a toujours soutenu le modèle social et d'année en année, nous renforçons le socle social. Voilà pourquoi le budget de la sécurité sociale a atteint 51,1 milliards. La première question qu'on se pose, quel était le montant de ce ministère en 2014? It is good for us to know. Quand on a pris la barre en 2014, Monsieur le Président, le budget était à 13,9 milliards. De 13,9 milliards en 2014 à 51,1 milliards pour cette année financière. And we should not forget also that the present budget, 2023-2024, was presented in times when the economy is recovering post-pandemic. Now the second question will be, how much increase, Mr. Speaker, from 2014 to date? Le calcul est simple. La différence entre 51,1 milliards et 13,9 milliards vous amène à environ, roughly, 37,1 milliards. Donc, une augmentation de 37,1 milliards depuis 2014 jusqu'à maintenant. Never in history, Mr. Speaker, has the budget of the Ministry of Social Security registered such a significant and substantial increase. Today, the ministry topped the list of all ministries. It is a very important ministry, Mr. Speaker, a ministry which is mandated to offer a wide range of social benefits, assistance of all kinds, and support to our elders, persons with disabilities, widows, orphans, the needy, destitute, and victims of natural disasters. Donc, le 51,1 milliards témoigne la volonté de ce gouvernement à soutenir les personnes que je viens de mentionner. But, Mr. Speaker, when you listen to the opposition members, one might think that the 51.1 billion will go to the rich. How do they say it? How do they qualify the budget? Un budget socialiste pour les riches. N'importe quoi, Monsieur le Président. On this side of the House, we fully understand the financial pressure on the people due to the rise in the cost of living. And people know very well that rise in the cost of living is not the doing of this government. So certainly the 51.1 billion will be used to take financial pressure off the people. Mr. Speaker, at this stage, allow me to take a moment to express my gratitude to our Prime Minister, Pravin Kumar Jagannath, for the present budget, which is, I must say, extremely balanced, extremely responsible, a budget with a human approach, a budget that reflects his values to build a fair, equitable, and inclusive society. Honorable Minister Padeyachi, I know too well that yourself, your team, under the leadership of the Prime Minister have done everything you could to present a budget that strikes the right balance between the economic and the social development. We all know that striking the right balance between the economic and the social development is not an easy task. But so far, you have been good at it, Honorable Minister of Finance. Thank you. Striking the right balance between the economic and the social development is the right thing to do if we want stability, peace, unity, and harmony in our country. Mr. Speaker, addressing the social issues of our people by a fair distribution of wealth is very important. Careful attention towards the welfare of the nation. Mr. Speaker, during the debates, what have we not heard about the budget? Rather than talking about the budget has been accused of everything. You say whatever you want to generate heat. Bien sûr, de ce côté de la Chambre, nous respectons les divergences de point de vue. Mais quand vous entendez le budget qualifié de toutes sortes d'adjectifs, cela nous interpelle. You might not like it, but I have to come back to some of the unfounded expressions you used to qualify the budget. Let me quote some of them. Un budget arriéré. Ce budget contente de donner des miettes aux Mauriciens. L'inflation est l'ennemi des pauvres et le meilleur ami du ministre des Finances. Listen to this one, Mr. Speaker. Calculeux. Après les retraités, les pensionnés, ce sont les jeunes qui sont dans le viseur du gouvernement. Mr. Speaker, à entendre l'opposition, on pourrait croire qu'ils voient leurs propos dans une boule de cristal, des commentaires sans fondement. I can continue, I can go on and on. Budget mea culpa, budget décevant, c'est un budget de fin de règne. This one, Mr. Speaker, I have not been able to digest it. Fin de règne selon qui? Hein? Fin de règne selon qui? Selon ceux qui n'ont même pas eu le courage de faire un meeting 1er mai? Hein? Hein? Quelle arrogance! Hein? Fin de règne. Fin de règne pour ceux qui essayent de s'amadouer pour former une alliance? Hein? And I am tempted to say, Mr. Speaker, Anne, ma sœur Anne, ne vois-tu rien venir? Non. Non, Monsieur le Premier ministre, non. Dommage. So, Mr. Speaker, we must be serious in debates. People must have had a good laugh when listening to you, members of the opposition. Do you want people to believe you? Do you really think people will take you seriously when you use these unfounded expressions? Do you think people want to hear about those unfounded expressions right now? Or do they want to know how government will put food on their plate? What people want us to do, Mr. Speaker, is to bring practical solutions to their daily problems. This is what people want us to do. So please stop the bluff, because people do not take you seriously. Mr. Speaker, during the last 2 weekends, I was very much engaged with my constituents in constituency number 19, a beautiful constituency. So let me for a moment forget about the opposition. Whatever they think is not important for us. We are here to work. But what the people think does matter. I wanted to have independent sources of information about the budget. I'm sure many of us in this House, on both sides of the House, have done the same. I'm not the only one. So I have met people of all walks of life, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, believe me, my feeling is that they are happy with the budget. The terms they have used, un bon budget, soulagé, and budget pour ban tidimoun. People are wise, Mr. Speaker. They know and understand that increase in the cost of living is not our doing. They know that the whole world is going through tough time. They know too well that increase in the rate of inflation is not our doing. So at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, what do people want from government? What do people want us to do? Three things. When you meet people, they tell you three things. Help them with the cost of food, invest in and improve health sector, healthcare, and invest in education. This is exactly what we are doing. Mr. Speaker, from past experience, they know fully well when which party is speaking the truth and which party les emmène en bateau. They know too well on which party they can count. Donc, on voit bien l'acharnement de l'opposition à ce que ce budget échoue. Dommage pour eux, succès pour nous, Monsieur le Président. Mr. Speaker, I have also checked what the private sector has to say about the budget, because for me, their opinion do matter. I have seen no adverse comments, but rational thinking, meaningful, insightful, be it Perigum Capital, PwC, KPMG, Prism, Deloitte Mauritius, more or less they have expressed positive opinion, Mr. Speaker. Now, let me respond to some comments. Honorable Utim said that persons with disabilities are not happy with their pension, with their increase in pension. Fair enough. You continue. You said they should have continued to get their basic invalidity pension even when they reach retirement age. You say so with so much ease. Of course, Mr. Speaker, I am the one to say we have to do more and more for the people, Mr. Speaker. But there is a but we have to see what have been done in the past. What measures have been taken? Nothing has been done so far. That's why, year after year, we are bringing new measures. We are bringing innovative measures. We are bringing. We are trying to the best of our ability to help people in need. Can you recall, Honourable Member, in 2014, what was the rate of the basic invalidity pension? What was the rate? Who knows? Only 3,267, less than the basic retirement pension. Mr. Speaker, now we have aligned all pension, be it basic retirement pension, widows' pension, orphans, persons with disability, same rate. Now, I have to repeat it again. Children with disabilities less than 15 years, Mr. Speaker, how were they treated in the past? How were they treated? Who can forget? They were neglected, left behind, no consideration. So, I have tried to find out those who intervene on pensions, whether they did raise the issue at that material time. But I find now none. Now that we are, gradually improving the system, doing what we can, they are not satisfied. Can you imagine, Mr. Speaker, the distress, the trauma of parents having under their responsibility children with disabilities less than 15 years and not deriving a pension. We know fully well that in such situation, one of the parents has to stay at home to take care of the child, 24/7. So how do they meet their expenses? Very tough for them, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the House, under the leadership of our Prime Minister, we have given due consideration to this issue. In 2015, with the support of our Prime Minister, we resolved this hard situation. No more age criteria. All children benefit from this pension. This is a Prime Minister who is really compassionate. Not only this, Mr. Speaker, let me give you other examples to illustrate my point. Another step we have taken. Basic invalidity pension is no longer taken into consideration in assessment of eligibility for SOM. So what does it mean? It means that more persons in need are captured in the system now. So more people in need can benefit from the SOM. We have also expanded taxi fares for students with disabilities of primary and secondary schools, because previously it was only to the benefit of tertiary students. So now we have extended this benefit to primary and secondary schools. So who do not recall the status of Muslim widows whose nikah were not registered? We have resolved this issue also, Mr. Speaker. Their nikah have been totally registered and they are now deriving their widow's pension of 11,000 rupees. So what were you? Now we have increased. It is very difficult, Mr. Speaker, to follow members on the other side. There is no consistency in their reasoning. Now that there is no rationality, now that we have increased the pension, they are saying not enough. So let me continue. So we have also introduced the disability allowance of 2,500 for those suffering from a disability of 40 to 49 to 59%. So these are things which I personally think you should have been done years back. We have had to address all those injustices since 2014. Honorable Mohammed is not in the room, in the chamber, so Honorable Mohammed said that we have not increased the pension as promised. But let me remind Honorable Member that we have 1.5 years to go. We have not reached the end of our mandate. So be patient. There is no need to rush. Another member said that pension should have reached 15,000. N'importe quoi. A budget does not work like this. This is a serious exercise. So a lot of effort is being made by our government to increase the budget every year. So I think the least we can expect from you some appreciation. Mr. Speaker, believe me, I do not know if this statement, I don't know, should make me angry or laugh, but I have done one thing. I have go back to 2014 because I have to repeat it. What was not said in 2014 when we took the decision to increase pension from 3,623 à 5,000 rupees? What was then their arguments, Mr. Speaker? Not sustainable. There will be an increase in VAT. These are facts. You can go and check. Increase in pension is equal to, who can continue? Bribe electoral, which means illegal. And today you are saying that the increase is not enough. Which is which? So very difficult indeed, Mr. Speaker, to follow the reasoning of honourable members on the other side. I'm sorry to say you don't know what you are talking about. So instead of shooting left, right, and center, so know what you are saying, be consistent, so that we can understand and we can improve whenever there is need to improve. Mr. Speaker, I have heard so much demagogy about pension that I have had to scrutinize all the increases since 2014. I wanted to verify whether you have done better than us. And that is why maybe you are lecturing us now. So I scrutinize it all with a loop. Because it is from 2015 to date. I have the table with me. Let us see together what was the rate of pension from 2005 to 2014. Mr. Speaker, what I find is shocking. Shocking, Mr. Speaker. Let me come to what I have now. Listen to this, very important, colleague, to understand. In 2005, the basic retirement pension was only, who can tell me? Who can tell me? Only 2,200. Only, big figure, 2,200. And from 2005 to 2014, how do they increase the pension? And now, today, they have the cheek to say that increase is not enough. From 2005 to 2014, you increase pension by a meek figure of 150 roupies, Monsieur le Premier ministre. 150 roupies à 200 roupies. S'il vous plaît. Not monthly, yearly. Yearly. 150 roupies, 200 roupies, yearly. Aïe, 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 aïe. Aïe, aïe, aïe. So, in November 2014, pension stood at 3,623. And I don't know, peut-être nous avons des bons mathématiciens de ce côté de la chambre, de deux côtés de la chambre. Maybe you can help me. In November 2014, pension stood at 3,623. Donc 3,623 over a period of 10 years. There has been an increase of how much? Only 1,423, my dear colleagues. And this is the way. This is how our elders, dear elders, seniors, persons with disability, widows, orphans were treated. Do you really think our seniors, widows, persons with disability deserve only an increase of 1,423 over a span of time? 10 years? 9 years? 10 years? And today you dare say the budget is décevant when you were giving big increases of 150 roupies, 200 roupies per year over 9 years. Mr. Speaker, on this front, we value our seniors, persons with disabilities, widows, orphans, needy, destitute. For us, every person matters, Mr. Speaker. And our actions speak for themselves. What I'm saying, what I have said so far, you can go and check. If it is not correct, you come in the house and tell me, then we will see. So, Mr. Speaker, we will never let our people down. We want our seniors to enjoy their silver age and be financially independent. We want everyone to live with dignity and respect. This is our priority. Mr. Speaker, Now let us see what we have done. Never would I lecture or boast, but I have to set the record right, Mr. Speaker. If I was in their place, I would not have dared to even comment on pension, knowing full well that I have failed to honor our people, Mr. Speaker. So from 2014 to date, Mr. Speaker, for the same span of time, we have brought significant increases to all basic pension, so clear and evident, from 3,623 to 5,000, 9,000, 10,000, and now to reach 11,000 and 12,000 for those above 65. So over the same span of time, that is 9 years, an increase of around 7,400 by our government compared to 1,423 over the same period, Mr. Speaker. Donc, nous avons augmenté, 2014 jusqu'à maintenant, il y a eu une augmentation de 7,300 dans les pensions comparées aux autres qui étaient à 1,423 pour la même période. So, 1,423 is their legacy and 7,400 is our legacy, Mr. Speaker. Now that I have explained lengthily how we have increased pension, I don't know, I put a question. Do you still think that ce budget contente de donner des miettes aux Mauriciens? Hein? So you have to, I don't know, go and check all what I have said so far. Mr. Speaker, allow me now to touch upon a few things which need to be highlighted. I'm here referring to pensions allocated for amputation. Henceforth, all persons with amputation below or above knee, below or above elbow, will be eligible to the basic invalidity pension, Mr. Speaker. This is a big step in the right direction. Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we hear the people, we listen to them, we have worked on their requests, and we have been able. This is one of our achievements in the present budget, Mr. Speaker. Il fallait faire quelque chose. I could not, we could not, the Prime Minister could not left this issue unattended, Mr. Speaker. We cannot sit back and see what happens. Actions need to be taken, so we got it done, Mr. Speaker, and this is what they call un budget arriéré. So I leave it to the appreciation of the people. Let me digress to address a remark made by the Honourable Leader of the Opposition with regard to fake medical certificates. Let me reassure the Leader of the Opposition that needful is being done to tighten the system. So there is an inquiry ongoing to determine the whole alleged fake medical certificate. So, but we have taken it very seriously at the level of the Ministry and the government. So regular meetings are being held with the Ministry of Health to put in place a robust mechanism of checks and balances, very important indeed. So we are monitoring this alleged fake medical certificates very closely, Mr. Speaker. Let me now turn to the Social Integration Division of the Ministry, an important division, a key role in alleviating poverty. Its main responsibility, we all know, is to design and implement various assistance schemes to give a helping hand to those in need, Mr. Speaker. But one of our top priorities, Mr. Speaker, has been the, when we came forward with a Marshall Plan to better cater for the vulnerable people. Because without the Marshall Plan, it was very difficult for government to provide support to the needy. So over the years, the Marshall Plan has proved to be an essential tool in the fight against poverty. And I must say, for the first time in history, our government has made provision for a monthly income support to be paid to SRM household. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to see that the poverty threshold has once again been reviewed in the budget. I can safely say significantly reviewed, from 10,500 to 14,650, an increase of 39% to help them in their daily life, Mr. Speaker. Social benefits provided for SRM families has climbed up from 394 million to 594 million, an increase of 200 million, so very important to help those at the bottom of the ladder. Mr. Speaker, let me briefly respond to the remark of the Leader of the Opposition in relation to the CSR concept. The Leader of the Opposition said that government should go back to the previous CSR framework. Of course, in order to ascertain whether he was right, I went to find out why the CSR concept was abolished and replaced by the National Social Inclusion Foundation, because at that particular time, I was not in the said ministry. So, two main reasons, Mr. Speaker. The CSR funds were disbursed directly to NGOs. Some were complaining that they were not getting funds, even though they were deserving. There was no monitoring, no transparency, no accountability with respect to CSR funds. And this, Mr. Speaker, I must highlight, this has been noted in a report by the World Bank dated 20th December 2010. So the World Bank highlighted that there is no monitoring, no transparency, no accountability with respect to CSR funds. So these are the two main reasons why it has had to be reviewed. I have been informed that the new network is working perfectly to the satisfaction of the NGOs and the private sector. So far, we have received no complaints. And following the remarks of the Leader of the Opposition, I have also inquired whether there is any issue with regards to the functioning of NSIF, National Social Inclusion Foundation. But it seems there is none. So I will invite the Honourable Leader of the Opposition to inform me of an issue, if any. Of course, I will definitely look into it. Mr. Speaker, I would be remiss if I don't say a few words about my constituency. Almost 20 years of involvement in this beautiful constituency, Constituency 19. Well, Constituency 19 was not on the map for years, Mr. Speaker, neglected by the previous government, completely neglected. I don't know why. Maybe someone on the other side can tell me the reason behind. It will be good to know. But what have we done, Mr. Speaker? Now constituency number 19 is, if it was not on the map, now it is visible. So now constituency number 19 is visible and is being taken on board in all development projects. Some achievements that are in my mind right now: 2 community centers, Plaisance Trèfle, 1 geranium multipurpose complex Camp-le-Vieux, the constructions of a mediclinic at Stanley, well, it's still ongoing, not yet completed, but it will be completed, an elderly daycare center at Rochebrune, renovation of plaza, yes, one phase completed, ongoing, almost all roads done, and as has been announced by our good friend, the Minister of Finance, some more to come in the budget. So I will not go through the list. You can go and see what are the projects in the pipeline. So, Mr. Speaker, pas mal, depuis qu'on est là. So I reassure my constituents that due consideration and attention is being given to improve their quality of life. I am monitoring everything closely, Mr. Speaker. So, to end, Mr. Speaker, our government leads by example in the bold steps taken to address social issues. And what I'm saying is not des paroles en l'air. Throughout my intervention, I have supported my arguments with facts and figures which can be verified. Mr. Speaker, as Minister responsible of our dear seniors, brothers and sisters with disabilities, widows, orphans, needy, destitute, I would never miss an opportunity to make a difference in their lives, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister, my colleague on this side of the House, know. So, Mr. Speaker, we have a bilan, I must say a very positive bilan, éloquent. C'est le mot le mot choisi par mon collègue à ma gauche, M. Boula. So, Mr. Speaker, let me end by saying a budget is not about winners or losers, Mr. Speaker. It is all about doing what is right. I repeat, it is all about doing what is right for a fairer and inclusive society. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Honourable members, I'll suspend the sitting for 1.5 hours.